ladies and gentlemen, and people who are watching via your smartphones or computers. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the second day of Date Summit 2020。所有现场以及现在正在线上收看的好朋友们，欢迎继续参加我们2020 Date Summit 数位商务大趋势国际会谈第二天的会议哦。First of all, good news to share with everybody. Yesterday, at one point of time, we had a total of 5,500 people who were also watching online. OK，我们先给我们这次的这个数位线上的直播以及虚拟舞台一个掌声好吗？非常的成功哦。Maybe that's why we have fewer people today. Because everybody's watching at home. All right，那我们昨天的这一次的大会的直播以及虚拟舞台哦，非常的成功。我们昨天一度有5500位的线上收看的观众哦，那代表我们这次大会呢，除了现场的这个贵宾之外，加上线上的贵宾，我们是有5、6千人的这个大型的数位经济、数位商务的最新趋势的这个聚会哦。好，那接下来呢，我们回到我们的会议的本身呢，我们今天呢会以这个云经济数位应用新风貌为主轴，邀请到5位专家来跟我们分享他们的看法以及最新的趋势哦。This morning, we're very happy to be joined by 5 speakers who are going to share with us the latest digital trends of cloud economics. 那首先呢，我们要有请台湾虚拟及扩增实境产业协会彭子威理事长来为我们的场次引言，我们掌声欢迎 Ladies and gentlemen. Now, to give us an introductory talk, please join me in welcoming Andy Peng, President of Taiwan Association for Virtual and Augmented Reality.
王研发
Mr. Wang, our ladies and gentlemen, our guests, and all of our audience online. Good morning, everyone. As the moderator, I need to paint the big picture first. So basically, the year 2020 is a year of changes and it's very different. As the chairperson, the president of the TAVR, I see our industry in 2020, whether it's because of the COVID-19 or the various incidents that have happened around the world mixed together, we are still developing. And our online virtual reality exhibition system will actually be introduced. And it's actually a system that's devised by our speaker, iStaging today, and a member of our association. By December last year, I was in Japan personally. I had no idea that what was going to come in 2020. A month later, everything changed. All the transportation started shutting down. The commercial businesses started feeling the impact. So people started thinking, how do we use the digital tools to allow while the physical distance between people are increasing, we are not going to be inconvenienced by these barriers. So we have our digital exhibition, whether it's the Food Panda or other food delivery platforms, are all improving and changing our daily lives. Just last month, it's currently 2020 in September, and in August, Taiwan's export actually increased, so a round of applause to Taitra. Living in Taiwan is a blessing. We are one of the very few countries in the world that is least impacted by COVID-19. A lot of people are debating whether it's good or bad that we're less negatively impacted. I think I need to share with you, I feel that we are really blessed to be living here. And because we are less negatively impacted, we should work together to improve. A while ago, I was talking to the two managers of the telecom companies, and both telecom company managers were saying the same things. Taiwan likes to call people within the same network. But what do we mean by same network? Because we are competing with on a small island. But after this pandemic, I think we need to work together to fight this digital war internationally. So we should join our forces. And I hope my expectation for the summit today, whether you are online watching or offline watching in person, I hope that after today, whether it's in the virtual exhibitions or digital e commerce platforms or AI, we have a masters of AI here with us today. Hope we'll all develop greatly. And I wish today's summit a great success, and I wish you all good health. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you once again to Andy for opening this session for us. 那接下来呢，我们就会邀请到5位讲师依次的来跟我们分享啊。那这个场次的最后呢，我们还有综合讨论的时间。And next, we are going to have 5 keynote talks and a panel discussion at the very end of the session. 那首先呢，我们要有请来跟我们分享的就是西动智能科技哦，ALO 沈书伟创办人及执行长哦。那西动智能科技呢，一直不断的追求要打造最人性化的人机互动体验。First up, we have Vic Shen, founder and CEO of ALO, a startup focusing on voice assistant and AI solutions for hospitality business. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Vic. 掌声欢迎。
好，谢谢主持人，然后大家早上好，今天很高兴。
Thank you. So, good morning, everyone. Today, I have the pleasure to introduce to you ALO. I think we are not yet a famous company because it's a quite young company. We founded our company in 2018 in October, and that was 2 years ago. And it was actually quite a fun experience. In the first year of our founding, that trade war happened. So that was a shrinking market, and we developed our market. And then we have the luck to experience the pandemic. So also, my former employer, Google, grow under this kind of circumstances, and this is how I persuade my investors. I would like to quickly introduce to you ALO. Our company is a platform that provide technology support. So you're not going to see fancy slogans or logos. The reason why we established the platform is because we want to have a SaaS platform to provide services to industry. So it seems that a lot of jargons are involved. We use natural language understanding. What is that exactly? So it's actually conversational technology that help us to have communication on the platform. 20 years ago, we have already have a voice control demand available on platforms. But I'm highlighting this kind of service for service industry because we think going forward in the advancement of AI, we would like to replace some of the routine work, and internet companies is going to benefit the most from this kind of service. There is no doubt. And service intensive industry is going to benefit from this advancement of technology. So, what kind of industries would that be? For example, hospitality, one of the industry that is most affected by the pandemic, and we have real estate operation that can benefit. So, logistic companies or service hotels, these kind of industries have always been labor intensive industries over the years. And the pandemic shows us that while you're investing a product for your own company, it is very difficult to walk away if at a downtime because you're never going to be able to reduce your cost in labor intensive industry. So how do we optimize the operation from SMD to medium-sized industries? as long as the company is labor intensive industry, you can ask them about their capacity, and they would say the loading is always full. And I would ask them, do you know why your employees are so busy? And they would say, no, I don't know why. So they probably need four people providing room service, like concierge service. Maybe they need to have two people answering phones. And how many phone calls do you take a day? And the owner would say, I have no idea. When it comes to digital transformation, when we have the first wave of offline to on-time movement, most of this happened in e-commerce. That's the fastest because their industry involve less labor. They have inventory systems. And when we come back to work with labor intensive industry, how do you migrate their service from offline to online? First, we need to go back to look at their operation. If they don't even have data, then AI would, of course, be too far fetched. Coming back to our topic today, why do we choose a service industry? Because Google is doing it, Amazon is doing it, and DAT is doing it. So, what would be the niche for us? Before I founded the company, I worked at Google for 4 years. I was involved in the first generation Google Home, Google Smart service. And I learned that a voice NLU cost is really expensive. It was so expensive. Even only Google and BAT can afford it. Only the big players can do it. However, they won't be able to justify their own ROI, so they had to cut it down. And that is exactly the same for startups. And however, for these kind of enterprise or undertaking, it will only be feasible for big companies. But then, who should be the one to give service and support SMEs? And they can reduce the cost because it's unlikely to tell a medium-sized company that you need to collect 2 million of data records, and I can give you a training of 6 months, and once the platform is launched, then we need to have a soft launch and testing. This is not workable model. If we can have a industry application for service or labor intensive industries, then they can actually find a process or model that really fit their need. Then maybe the industry can actually accelerate their pace into uh, the whole smart operation. To put it simply, what do we do exactly? To the left, bottom left, this is a very complicated property management system. For hotels, it's called PMS. For example, if you're booking reserving a room through Agoda, and that is PMS system supporting it, and also PMS support a lot of information before a guest check-in. And for the service hotel or some of the big mansion, they also have a logistic company handling their package delivery services or parking lot or even a surveillance camera which grant permission for guests visiting the estate. So this is the kind of system they use, and it really relies heavily on manual work and also human response. So how do we build an NLU model so that this can be a framework for property manager? And how do I use multiple user interface? It can be a in-room device. It can also be a mobile app application. It can be instant message live robot. It can also be a landline form PVS exchange. So I can actually build a NLU framework to learn about their service, breakfast time, hour breakfast hours and monthly payments. They collect all the information and plug into all the consumer interfaces required throughout the process. Because we are a technology supporting platform, I think you are very familiar with the voice system, from the voice, the sound to text, and the machine can guess what you are going to say, and then they can become a TTS voice. For example, you have the new Siri assistant, Google Assistant. They use female or male voice, but our core technology covers the blue parts, machine learning and graphic DB. So, what is machine learning NLU? Natural language understanding is a technology that that was proposed a decade ago. However, because of the lack of machine learning concept and technology barriers, the scientists they developed an algorithm and try to apply the algorithm to all different models, and that lead to a rule-based or keyword principle. For a lot of voice control system, these systems are rule-based. So we can for in the engineer language, a rule-based principle means that you just need to exhaust all the possible uh, def- possibilities. For example, you say aircon or computer, they can start operating. But if you tell the system that my computer is gone, and they won't be able to tell you take another computer, a laptop back home. You need to be very specific. It's very difficult to have exceptions for certain keywords. That is why that intent judgment is the most difficult part. If we're going to make a plan or roadmap for AI, of course, AI addresses big data, but it's very important for data to understand humanity. However, this is an analog process, and you have to digitalize human activities. Then you use images, and they have to learn about the way you walk or falling proof. For example, that's a trending topic recently in Taiwan. So we have different models to train, and language understanding now is a bottleneck. And thanks to machine learning, if I do have strong computing power, because we have strong PDR, CPU power, we have good, strong computing power. I think the gram technology is another topic, but can we actually do this? Crack humans language. So this is like a reading method. If you are reading an article, you are not going to read it line by line. You just by one word by word, just by one glance, you know what the sentence is talking about, and you can still understand the sentence even if there are typos. It's not about grammar rules, you know. It's because you have a powerful machine, which is your brain, that teach you to understand the sentence. So this is how we would like to teach our machine. And the learning process can be very quick, but there are pros and cons. First, you need to make sure that your script is narrow domained. What does that mean? For example, you cannot just take a math textbook and give it to a law student and ask them to be able to interpret the law art provisions. But you can ask a math student to actually solve formulas. And now we have the model. Model can be very strong, but they can actually decipher the sentence structure. But even if you can tell which word is verb, which one is subject, it doesn't mean that you know what the sentence mean. For example, when you watch a baseball game, so if you say that the Taiwan team beat Japanese team, what does that mean? It means that we won, right? But you can also say that Japanese team is beaten by Taiwanese team. But exactly that means that Taiwanese team wings. So it's very difficult to teach your model to be able to decipher the meanings. And then you also need to have full base solution. So we develop GraphicDB to overcome that bottleneck. I think you are very familiar with GraphicDB. This is a knowledge based system. For example, you won't be able to learn all the meanings of a word. For example, you know the word what does the word Trump means, but I probably doesn't know what Kim Jong Un means. So if these are similar terms, I would be able to learn that these Kim Jong Un is not a name for food. So they can give you a full base solution to help you to make judgment or guess what does the word mean. For example, we have different options. This is a full base solution, and it can so you, the problem is that how do you auto correct for the things you need. So these are our core capabilities. It seems that I'm being showing off, but I'm going to show you a video clip to tell you what we do. So deliver two coffees to me, and where is the gym? And make sure, yeah, you collect the clothes for laundry and what time it is right now in New York, and tell me the weather today, and also play me the songs of Jay Cho. So you can see this is a very long sentence with 7 to 8 demand or intent. Of course, I do not expect our users to do that. So only our competitors would do that to test our capability. But I'm just showcasing that the language understanding extent, how good our capability can do. So this is how we can apply the technology and where can we apply that technology. So I also have another video later on to show that. And in terms of intent understanding, when we have the mature technology, if we are going to make a reservation, a room reservation, restaurant reservation, first you need to know who I am. And hello, I'm going to make a reservation tomorrow. You need to have many steps laid out, but this is not really a user experience. If you're making a phone call for reservation, it's answered by a real human being. I would like to have a seat by the window. I need to have a baby booster, and a real human being can filter all the messages, and that is what we are trying to do. That is the natural language understanding, and multi-intention is something we are working on. We only have 19 members on our team, but so far we are the only one that announced publicly the technology, and that is already applied for commercial use. And moving on to the next stage. Once we can be able to decipher multiple task intent. For example, if it's not raining next day at 4, remind me to pick up my child from kindergarten. I have another video to show you.
And turn off the TV for me. Also play some quiet music.
那这个是一个英文的多益图的一个 demo。
So this is English demo of multi-intent. So we support 3 languages: Mandarin, English, and Japanese. And this is a Japanese demonstration. I'm not demonstrating Japanese for Japanese industrial application. You need to give them a back end and make the data available. And this is a very important for developers supporting platform. You need to be able to help them to bridge into the technology, and also information like breakfast time, jeans opening hours, whether there is a swimming pool. I want to go to Bali Island for a vacation. This is another example. The application on the mobile app. So we have 4 adults and 2 children, and we would like to make a reservation for 5 days. So this is how we demonstrate our capability of understanding the intent. So this is how I would like to illustrate our graphic DB. So we built around 1 million nodes of knowledge, including service language. Secondly, we have IoT graphic DB. So people challenge me about the necessity of making that. For example, once when you have a new light, you can actually build that into your home app and then give it a name. But while you are moving into a service apartment, if you're only going to stay here for 1 night or 2 nights, how would you know the name of exactly the lamp? It's the reading lamp, it's a kitchen lamp. So you need to be able to train that model to learn and decipher the intent. So that is actually a key technology to help us to accelerate our learning process, to improve our service. So for a hotel, no matter how big it is, so on business side, commercial hotels, on for example, they probably would have 700, 800 rooms top, but they won't be have able to have enough of budget uh, for a system like this, and you need to be able to help them to collect the data and build that into a system that they can launch right away. So we have worked with several service apartments. So even you have two hotels with the same rate, the same number of stars, the behaviors, the demographic of their clientele will be very different. So and NLU can better help you to understand user profile. For example, people have different ways of talking. For example, I want to see a Tesla, or you say, maybe I can check out Tesla model. So you can actually decipher from the way a person speaks that the how strong the desire to do something is. And this kind of technology can better help you to illustrate or identify your clientele profile. I'll skip the next slide about the voice data. I think I should go back to this page. For example, if you have a device in your room, so how do you use the device to upsell your service? For example, when you're a guest stay, move into your room for 24 hours, you have nothing else to offer. So how do you retain your client? When you're how do you conduct the last mile communication while your guest stays in his or her own room most of the time? Then how do you reach them and then give them the upsell services? This is why a lot of our partners choose to work with us. Even though we are only a new company that set up for only 2 years, and also this in the second year we were hit by pandemic, and over the course of this year we can't travel anywhere else outside of our country. But this is actually a good time for hotels to remodel themselves, revamp themselves. We have a penetration to 7 to 80 hotels in the past 1 year, and we have 20 hotels employing our service. And it's very interesting that we found the voice inquiry for single device grow by 5 to 10 times, because when the guests check in, they can enjoy this kind of smart service, and they can learn that what the hotel can do for them. And that is my presentation for you all today, and feel free to check out our official website. Thank you for your attention.
季执行长 ，Thank you once again to Vic from ALO for your talk。那接下来呢，我们要请到的是全台最大的即时外送平台 Food Panda 岳勋营运总监来跟我们分享。Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome our next speaker, Nick Yu, Operations Director of Food Panda, the largest food and grocery delivery platform in Taiwan. Let's welcome Nick，掌声欢迎。
Hello, everyone. I'm Nick, Operation Director of Foodpanda. It's my pleasure to share more about Foodpanda. So my topic today is the booming of the Taiwan delivery market and the future of Q-commerce in Foodpanda perspectives. Okay, so before I start my presentation, I have a question I want to ask. Can you imagine how many people are using Foodpanda ordering food or groceries online right now, every minute? You can imagine numbers for yourself. The answer is over 1,500. There are over 1,500 people ordering food, grocery through Foodpanda per minute. Okay. Although compared to China, it's not an amazing numbers, but still quite impressive, right? But when we talk about Foodpanda, I want to also share about our parent company, Delivery Hero. So most of you might not heard about Delivery Hero, but in fact, Delivery Hero is one of the leading global online food ordering and delivery marketplaces. In fact, just this year, Delivery Hero has become the largest food delivery companies in the world. So we are a German company. So right now, we are the 30 largest public list companies of Germany with valuation over 20 billion euro. So we are now operating in 40 countries, in 4 continents, with over 600,000 restaurants and deliver 4 million food and grocery a day. If we look at some numbers, okay, Delivery Hero recent year grows really, really fast. If we look at some numbers, we delivered 660 million orders in 2019 with 7.4 billion euro GMV and 1.46 billion euro revenues. In this year, 2020, we are not defeated by pandemic. We also grow faster. It's a 94% year-over-year growth rate in these years. But most of the order, in fact, is come from Asia. Asia is about 60% of the portion of the whole orders. If we look into Asia's numbers, you can see there is almost 300% growth year over year in Asia. We deliver 157 million orders only in Q2. So here's the interesting thing is Delivery Hero Asia, in fact, is big parts. One is the 3 companies in Korea, which is the top 3 delivery companies in Korea, and Foodpanda. And if we see Foodpanda, you can see we are a leading brand in almost every country. If you look in Singapore, Hong Kong, Philippines, of course, Taiwan, this is Google trend of Foodpanda. So you can see no matter competitor it is, we are a leading brand. Okay. So Foodpanda now operates in over 200 cities across 11 countries in Asia. We have reached to 22 million customers, even almost like Taiwan. And we deliver 50 million orders a month with 200,000 riders and 274 restaurants and shops. But in fact, everything is not as smooth as you see right now. Foodpanda starts in 2012. So Taiwan is one of the first countries that operates in Foodpanda. So for the first few years, in fact, we try a lot of models. We try marketplaces models. We try to aim for lunchbox vendors. We also try to aim for high quality vendors. But the solution is not as easy as we thought. So in the end, we turn on to move away from 100% of the marketplaces to own delivery and work with every kinds of vendors. Okay. So in 2016, we joined Delivery Hero. So to be part of the Delivery Hero big group, big family, we are able to focus on delivery. We are able to focus on delivering food to our customers. And because of our good growth in 2018 and 19, we are lucky to enter 3 more countries last year, which is Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia, and become the leading brand in that market. But we are not only expanding our service area, we're also trying to improve our products. So we are not only delivering food, we also open a pickup function, so you can use pickup on Foodpanda. We're also trying to enter new markets as grocery, fresh, and we even open our new Panda Mart, our own supermarkets. And in 2020, because of the pandemic, we see more opportunities. And one thing I also want to share is, in fact, just yesterday, we officially launched Japan markets. Okay, so Foodpanda is already operating over 8 years. But if we look into Taiwan's markets, I think most of you might think, really? Is 8 years that long? Yes, it is. But you might have a question is, what happened to these years? We saw a lot of riders, we saw a lot of vendors using foodpanda. You can see on the vendor front door, you can see on the street, we have a lot of riders. So let's look at some numbers. Right. foodpanda Taiwan has 5,100% of growth in the past 24 months. Right now, a week's number is more than the past 6 years. So, but why? I think there's a lot of reasons. You can say, okay, more player in the market, or the penetration of online payment and third-party payments. And also you can say, my point of view is a biggest reason is everybody are more familiar with e-commerce. So everybody like ordering everything online, including food. So because of all these reasons, plus capital helps, then we can see there's a very good growth in Taiwan. Okay, but after this crazy growth, is it the end, or we still have opportunities? Then we look at a portion of Taiwan food delivery markets. So in fact, Taiwan right now, the food delivery portion will reach to 10% of the total F&B market. Back in 2016, it's only 2%. So it's quite crazy that we went from 2% to 10% only in 4 years. But still, food delivery business could still grow with high potential. If we compare to China, which is 20% of the portion in F&B, we still have a long way to go. But of course, in this year, interesting thing is most of the portion is come from pickup. So we are not taking out eating business. We try to increase the business for vendors. So from pickup to food delivery, a more convenient way. Okay, but of course in 2020 you can see there's a drop in pickup because of pandemic, and also because of pandemic we grow even faster. So talking about pandemic, I want to share something about impact of COVID-19. So if we see the data in Delivery Hero, you will see a very big drop in Q2, first Q1 to Q2. So pandemic did give us a hit, but very soon, very quickly, after an initial dip in April, worldwide, our order growth back. And one interesting thing to see is you can see if we see the Asia's trend, we're very lucky in Asia. Most of the Asia countries did a very good job providing COVID-19, so we can have a steady growth. But if you look at MENA, if you look at Europe, well, it's almost 50% decrease at the first beginning of the pandemic. But now we're going back on track, so luckily. Okay. So if we look into Taiwan's market, we found some interesting things is that during pandemic, we saw a very big growth, but grocery is even faster than food. Our grocery, it has 220% times growth rate than food. So you can see everybody is trying to think, okay, maybe I can buy some food through online, fresh, grocery, household things. We also see another thing is that the job opportunity supply or demand is increased a lot. We all know pandemic caused a very big hit for certain industry. A lot of industry losing their jobs, people in travel, people in hotels, they are losing their job. Even restaurants, they are closing their restaurants. So that's also a place that foodpanda could help. So with the delivery demand is increased, we also increase our riders. So if you see our rider leads, it increased a lot after pandemic, from March to April to May, and still increased right now. Okay. So what is our strategy in Taiwan? If I can only choose one word, I will say localizations. We want to reach cultivating Taiwan markets. As a platform, as a shared economy, our goal is to create value for each side. We help customers to get a faster and easier way to get food or groceries. We're trying to let vendors to maximize their vendors' resources. reach more customers, or more easy to start their delivery business, and better online exposures. We're talking about how vendors can become an online shop. Then maybe Foodpanda is one of the quickest solutions. Once you sign a contract, you will have your online store, you will have your delivery, and you can deliver it to your customer next minutes. And to the riders, we also help them to utilize your personal free time to create profit. You can choose anywhere, anytime you want, and become a riders and earn profits. So if we look at our potential advantage, I would say there are three things. Once we create a variety of choice for customers, there's more than 60,000 restaurants and shops on our platform, and we operate anywhere, almost anytime. So right now we are in 23 cities and counties, and we operate in 24 hours in almost every cities with 20 minutes delivery. Okay, so we're trying to paint the city. We're trying to paint your life. You can see Foodpanda online. You can see Foodpanda offline, on MRT station, on bus station, on the road, on your restaurants. So we're trying to paint everywhere. And we're also trying to paint every cities. So as I said, right now, it's more than 19 cities right now. You can see almost, we cover almost Taiwan, for whole Taiwan. I think the last place maybe will be Green Island or Xiaoliuqiu. Okay, so for this big area, we're supported by a lot of restaurant vendors, restaurant partners. As you can see, not even big brands, chain store, but also a very famous local hero, okay, or even night markets vendors. If we look at the distribution of the whole restaurants, you can see 33% are chain, but more important, the majority is local hero, individual vendors, night market vendors. And we're also trying to look deep into what customer like. So of course, we're Taiwanese, 44% is Chinese food. But then drink is very strong. So we all love bubble tea. We love any kinds of teas, coffees. And the third part, Japanese. I think no surprise, right? But for me, interesting thing is Asian food is more and more. Thai food, Vietnam food, or Singapore, Malaysian food is more and more. And you can search for any kinds of foods on Foodpanda platform. But with all this big operation area and all those restaurants and riders we have, what we're trying to do is to deliver faster. So how we deliver in 20 minutes? So for me, I would say every little percent enhancement matters. It's not only about drive fast, it's about how to improve every process in the delivering journey. This is a very journal ordering process, you can see. So we're trying to improve anywhere, everywhere. So to let vendors go faster, to let the Google Map, to that the map is more precise for riders, and trying to deliver food faster to our customers. Okay, but when we can deliver so fast, what is our next? I would say experience. Experience is one of the top priority on our business. The experience is not only for customer, but also for vendors, also for riders. We depends on not only our internal data, but also trying to get more information outside. We do a lot of surveys from vendors, riders, customer. We're trying to create amazing experience for them. Sorry. Can we go back? Okay. I think there's one slide is missing, so that's okay. Okay. So there's a slide meeting. We just want to talk about our responsibility. As we have more riders on the market, on the society, we also see social responsibility is important to ourselves. So we also trying to increase like rider insurance. We invest on the food safety project And we're also trying to reduce plastic cutlery. And that is also something we do in the past. Okay. So I still have few more minutes, so I will trying to explain what we saw on the next level. So we're trying to define a new way of commerce, which is Q-commerce. So everybody might think, what is Q? What is Q-commerce? So we say like that is quick. So the power of quick commerce, we will say, it might be redefining online shopping experience. If we're trying to do e-commerce right now, online shopping right now, you will get your products, you will get your orders in, I think Taiwan is pretty good right now in 1 day, even in 24 hours or 7 hours in Taipei. Taiwan is really good right now, but if you are in Europe, you are in America, you are in Southeast Asia, 3 days, 5 days is a normal thing. But what is quick commerce? We can deliver in 30 minutes. But why do we need 30 minutes? And what 30 minutes will change about? I think quick commerce is the next generation of e-commerce. And as the name suggests, it's all about quick. So traditional e-commerce, traditional quick commerce, as you can see, it's all about, okay, we change the commerce from buy by yourself to online ordering. So you can see, you can use website, you can go online to shop anything you want. The delivery is 2 to 3 days, and you will buy a lot of products, you deliver maybe by truck. Okay, and every market, every online shop will encourage you to buy more to save the delivery fee, to save logistic costs. But in Q-commerce, what we're trying to do is, okay, it's a less than 1 hour delivery time, and maybe it's just a small orders, but that is the things you need instantly, or the thing you need maybe just for 1 day or 2 days. You don't need to buy all your grocery for 1 week or 2 weeks. If you need a vegetable, if you need an oil, just now, just order, and 30 minutes you will deliver. And for me, I think there's more imagination for quick commerce is you can think about if you want to buy a Nike shoes. If you want to buy Nike shoes, you will go online. You can go online, then go Momo, go PC Home, then you order your shoes. Then after 1 day, you will receive it, right? So this is the process right now. But in fact, next to your door, there's a Nike shop. Next to your, just maybe 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer away, there's a Nike shop there. But why can't we just deliver from that shop? And of course, they have the shop, they have the shoes. Maybe they have the size. Then you can get the shoes in 30 minutes. So I wouldn't say everything will go to Q-commerce, not everything. But some part of the business might change because of the user experience, because of the delivery experience. So as a new service under foodpanda, we are already delivering over 5 million products every month with 20,000 shops and our 200,000 riders. But more than this, we're not only cooperate with a lot of retail store, we're also trying to build our Panda Mart, our supermarkets. So it's not only for food. Right now, in our Panda Mart, we have over 3,000 products online, and all can deliver in 30 minutes. So we're trying to launch the Panda Mart across APAC to deliver our customers' convenience grocery needs. A Panda Mart, we call it as a dark store because you cannot just go into the store and buy things you need. You can only go online. But then we should not care about the location. You should not. The Panda Mart didn't need to be on the big street on the traffic road. No, you can stay in the community. You can stay in a small warehouse in your community, but deliver food, deliver grocery, deliver household things for you. So right now, foodpanda is not only about delivering food. We have foodpanda for food, of course. We have foodpanda shops for groceries, for household things, for flowers, for everything you can think of in retail world. We have Panda Mart, our own supermarket, our own D-Mart, Dark Mart. And we're also trying to share our delivery energy. We're also trying to share our logistics energy to everyone. So we will launch Panda Go in very few months. So no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're trying to provide to customer, our goal is to deliver happiness. It's all about how to deliver things to what customer needs in very quick way. So here is my introduction for Foodpanda. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much to Nick Yu, Operations Director from Food Panda. Deliver food, deliver grocery, and deliver happiness. Thank you again. 我们再次谢谢 Food Panda 岳勋营运总监哦。那接下来呢，我们要有请 iStation 李忠斌创办人来跟我们分享爱实境他们的 AR/VR 的创新商业模式。Next up is Johnny Lee, founder of iStation, AR and VR content producer for e-commerce, real estate, and travel, and many other industries. Ladies and gentlemen, I give it Johnny. 掌声欢迎。
各位现场的来宾，还有
Distinguished guests and audience who are watching online, good morning. Today we are going to talk about AR VR technology and the changes that will happen post pandemic. When it comes to post pandemic age, I think that the line between online and offline world would be blurred. Like the previous speaker said, so once you have spoiled your customers, you won't be able to return to the old days. So you have the seamless contact. So we redefine space and a distance through AI and VR. So we are offering a commercial platform service. The consumers, they can use their mobile apps to build their own content, AR and VR content. It sounds quite weird, but I do welcome you to come to our office. We can give you a demonstration, and this is where our office is. So we have a global presence over 50 countries, and this is a business model of over 100,000 businesses as our members. So we have a clientele across many different industries: tourism, exhibition, conference business, hotels. So I would like to talk more about exhibition industry, exhibition and conference industry. So in year 2003, SARS actually devastated global economy, but trading was not affected. This year, economy was devastated. However, our trade, international trade, was not devastated. However, it was devastating for international conference and exhibition industry. It seems that they are the first one to bear the brunt of the pandemic. So post-pandemic era, if we can actually integrate online and offline worlds, maybe the industry can be better protected. So we can actually show our client how to use their own mobile phones to build their own AR and VR content. So this content creation will no longer be a bottleneck. So this is the three-dimensional content they can create. So they can use their mobile phones to build their own content. You can just use your own cell phones, use your smartphones, plus a fisheye camera. Then you can start to create your own content. Just turn around and use your fisheye camera, and then you can build your three-dimensional content. This is the video I would like to show you. We are experiencing a little bit of glitch. Let's see if we can whether the video can work. So you can you can use iPhone, Android smartphones. You can scan the space of a physical space, your school, your campus, your office, or shopping mall. You just use your cell phone to scan the space, turn around, and take a photo, like as if you're using GoPro. GoPro can be very expensive, but you can have a 12K resolution, and so it's affordable, but the result is can be much better than those expensive professional cameras. So we have users like LV, so they have over 178 branches across the globe. So every day they use our services, and you can say BNP Paribas, they use our cell phones for their mortgage service. So they use our mobile service to scan the space, and they use this for AI virtual space evaluation of the value of their assets. They can build a lot of content for tourism, and also Tiffany. They use our technology to help them to set up virtual shopping shops online for their own boutique product. So we have clientele across China, US, and Asia. So at iOS or Android phones, you can use our Air Maker and take around 8 to 7 pictures. So that can give you a 720 degrees of panorama picture. When you are scanning interior space, the interior exposure has to be also processed for integration, and we have a lot of real estate clients, and feng shui for them is very important, so our app can also support their feng shui inspection. So we teach AI to compile 2D data into 3D results. So we can actually tell a space is three-dimensional because we the lines and shadows of a space. So we can tell this is actually a three-dimensional picture. So we teach our AI to do the same thing, and working with several PhD students from the top research institutes from Taiwan, our research results won the first place for these competition. So we have a cube or scan result, so you can use your camera to take photos along the way. Next week at the building next door, we are going to take the photos for over 5 hours, and then our part-time students will take the photos and upload it to the cloud, and we can announce it. For example, if I want to show or demonstrate interior space and outdoor space of a building at National Palace Museum of your school, or a hiking trail at Ali Mountain, then you can actually use your cell phones, and then that can automatically process the two-dimensional pictures into a three-dimensional result. To put it simply, if you're a real estate agent, you can take a photo of a house. So how do we also use the technology to support exhibition industry for expo, conference, one-on-one meeting, and how do we remove the barrier of distance so that people can still get a first-hand sense of the space? So we also won first place of the global platform. This is how we do it. We combine AI technology with online conference platform.
所以因为不是做 conference，所以我们的
So this is not for a screen sharing. So for a video conference, you can have 1 to 2 or 1 to more multiple persons. So you can have 100% availability because everybody has cell phones. You can use your cell phones, and you can also use your laptop. So that offer a really different experience. So we have a physical, so we can give the power back to our clients post pandemic. How do you visit an exhibition? How do you visit a museum? So there are two objectives. There are different scenarios. So for example, you can use your PC, you can use your cell phone, you can be there in person, you can search, you can Google, you can ask KOLs. But you're doing this because first, you want to search for information. Secondly, you're looking for inspiration. For 90% of people who go to IKEA, but they would and leave without purchasing anything. But why would you go to IKEA? Because the scenarios, the settings can be quite inspiring. Designers, they're trained to know what they're looking for. But for the general public, they would just go to IKEA and say, wow, this looks good and that looks nice. You probably won't buy it. You won't buy the table or dining table or sofa. But you probably, after a trip to IKEA, you will buy a totally different thing. So if you can see something online, you would like to see the object in person as well. So we can integrate the pictures together. We need to be able to travel across different screens. So Sting is going to talk about the age of goggles, the age of spectacles. Your kids 20 years later probably would ask you about what exactly is cell phone, because everybody would be using spectacles. And now we only have smartphones available, so the clients, they can use their PCs, use their computers for their own shopping experience. So when you're visiting a place, how can you have this guided experience? And text, of course, is and images better than text, and movies is definitely going to better than images. So how do I consolidate all these elements in one scenario? And we allow our clients to upload these three-dimensional information. For example, the exhibition system is designed by Yaguang, and this year in February, LV vice president actually called our French director that we are going to have a fashion show in 20 days. Can you help us with that? And that was accomplished. So the clients, they can actually upload their information. It can be lifelike or non-lifelike. All the designers, they can actually use our platform and to set up their own booth and attract clients. Designers can continue to service their own clients. So for exhibition, we have the template available, but you can actually do anything you want. You can have your booth be uh, three floors, and then it can be as big as you want. It can be afloat in the air. So these are some of our designers creative results, and our engineers allow them to experience no latency experience, and then you can actually offer the experience on multiple different screens. So in terms of backend data management and allowing our customers to generate their own content and to allow one-to-one or one-to-many conferences. So in a 6 months time, we have three generation of products, but we aim to allow our client to have their own account. Organizer, they can have a business account, and the business owner and their editors can use the account to have access for online editing. If I'm a biotech company, I don't have actual product, I don't have anything to play, then just put up your video, PowerPoints or brochure. You can launch that yourself. In terms of data analysis, when you're actually migrating your physical activity online, you need to include not just pictures but also conversations. For example, our previous speaker of ALO, he talked about combining these elements, converting text into voice. So also these text and conversation can be converted from AI to BI. So we can go beyond the two-dimensional web page. And also we allow eye contact. For example, so if there are 3 bottles and the clients they only touches 3 bottles, and that can indicate the taste of the customers. If you have 1600 booth for a Computex fair, then the clients they can launch their own booth online. We are only offering a platform. We are not doing it for our client, and they can modify their booth however they want. For example, we can have a full day online exhibition, and the client can update their own content, and you don't have to be an expert of Photoshop, of editing softwares. The users, it's user friendly. Our clients they can edit their own content. And in terms of web conference, we're demonstrating a space. If this is a conference for product demonstration, if your buyers are interested in your product, in your company, they don't have to download an app, they don't have to put on a headset. Just click on a link and then you can start conversation right away. So we have a lot of business using this platform, and also for a car demonstration, museum guide, or real estate tour, they can all deploy this technology. If you want to demonstrate a space, you don't have to be there in person. If I'm going to demonstrate a factory, when you cannot make it there in person, then we can have the touring technology. Then you can actually take your client throughout the space, and this can be a lifelike experience. And also in terms of conference systems, we support web conference.
好逛就是要情境式的，我就坐在这边。
And we offer scenarios and also a product search inquiry of function. And for a Computex exhibition, you can have AI software, hardware available. You don't have to go visit every halls. You just need to search for it. Then for the product, you have to have embedded search function. You can use voice search, text search. If you don't know what you're looking for, if you know I'm looking for a bicycle, but I cannot remember the name of the vendor, but it probably start with an A, so we offer multiple search functions. If I'm going to go visit a physical space, and I have an online pre-tour already, and then you can also have this app to guide you in this indoor space. So you have documented, for example, 8 booths that you would like to visit. So you can also have the navigation function that take you to the physical booth. So post-pandemic era, you can still apply the technology. So these are pre-tour, and the cell phones can help you to create the content. If you're going to see, for example, a real estate, then it's going to be like a Netflix experience. And then if you have your mouse wipes across the screen, and then the trailer will start to play automatically, so your mouse can actually take you throughout the room. Maybe in 10 minutes you can visit 50 listed objects, real estates. Because I need to give you a demo within 20 minutes. So I would like to. So this is very similar to Netflix. So they can give you a feature trailer, and then your mouse can take you where your mouse is, and the trailer will start playing right away. And then if you click on your mouse, and then you can see in closer with closer details. And so these are the content created by mobile apps alone. and then you need to convert these three-dimensional information into YouTube video. So this is a KOL. He is actually the mayor of Tainan. This year in March, there was an art expo in Tainan. However, because of a pandemic, it was canceled. So that was migrated online. So they don't have a physical site. This is a hotel. The hotel was shut down because of the pandemic, and they actually built a three-dimensional video. The mayor was not there in person, and he made a video, and then the automatic tour will start. So this is actually a ticket event. So you have KOL giving you the tour through the virtual space. Welcome to Date Summit. So this is something we put on this the page, and then you have someone giving you a tour online. So every day, once you have your mouse over the space, and then you will have each one of the speaker giving you the highlights of the event. For example, you can have a 30-second long trailer, and then you can actually get a gist of the booth. So we want to spoil our clients. So for those who want to be pampered, who want to use their remote control in the comfort of their own sofa, enjoy the content of our exhibition. They want to be the passive consumer. And so before, during, and after the exhibition, how do we integrate all the process together? Before the exhibition, we can give different tips on different routes. For example, if you're only interested in IoT, or because you produce a sensor, so you can only visit these the halls and you can bookmark these booths, and then you can collect their contact information, schedule a conference with these vendors. And for example, if you want to visit National Palace Museum, and you would like to have the famous writer to give you a tour over a National Palace Museum, then you can have that available. And also in all the students, for example, if they want to have three articles about these virtual tour led by KOLs, and the students, they have to upload their own articles online, and then their grade decide on how many people like their article. So you have KOL led tour, guided tour, you have AI guided tour, virtual tour, and then you can actually pause and then say you want to explore on your own, and you can take the control back. So it can be a VR content, it can be a link. So you can use WhatsApp, use Line, use Facebook, use a text message to share the link. Sharing is a powerful tool because sharing lead to the highest click and reach rate. So you need to have something that is eye-catching. You need to leverage the influence of KOLs. For CES or MWC, you only have 4 days. You can't visit all the booths, right? However, the ticket price is so expensive. You need to do your research first, and then each one of the employees in your company need to do their own research so they know what to see and where to visit. For example, you would know that when you visit the actual sites, you need to turn left. I think my time is up. And the post exhibition effects. So you can be as an exhibition venue. For example, Google has revolutionized advertising industry. So they charge by click. And if you set up a booth at a venue, then for example, you can charge them by lead. Charge them by number of leads and contact, number of conference scheduled, and you can actually have cross-border e-commerce combined and data analysis can be 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can have online, offline exhibition at the same time. So this is the kind of exhibition technology post-pandemic, and our trade center can have up to 100 floors across the building. So this is the new innovative application of our technology. Thank you for your attention.
谢谢 iStation 和我们一起合作打造这个 Date Summit 2020年的 VR 虚拟舞台哦，还没上去看过的这个我们的朋友们呢，记得把握时间，把握机会，可以上去看看，体验一下身临其境的感觉哦。Thank you once again to Johnny from iStation, and we also like to thank iStation once again for making the VR stage for Date Summit 2020 possible。那接下来呢，要跟我们分享云端厨房2.0全新餐饮业的新商业模式。我们要邀请宣传厨房 Just Kitchen 陈新豪执行长。Ladies and gentlemen, next please welcome Jason Chen, CEO of Just Kitchen, the new shared kitchen model for that gives customers what they want, wherever and whenever they want it.
Hello， 大家好，我是陈新豪。
Hello everyone, I am Jason. I'm here on behalf of Just Kitchen. I am not very fluent in Chinese, so I will be presenting in English to be more smooth.
我们是一个
We
dark kitchen operator， 所以我们
we are a dark kitchen platform.
fine. So digital technology, big data, cloud-based technology is something that's very prevalent to us. So it's very integral to our entire business. So what I'll do today is I think I'll walk through our business plan and sort of reflect upon the points where these technology are applicable for us. So, as I said, we're a platform. We're a dark kitchen operator infrastructurally. We adopt a hub-to-spoke model. So our hub kitchen is our large format facility where majority of the food are prepared to near completion. Then it's portioned and it's stored and quick freezed, and then it's distributed to our spoke kitchens where the orders come in and it's prepared, and preparation time at the spoke kitchens are about 3 to 8 minutes, and from there it's picked up by one of our delivery partners. So that's the infrastructure side, and then there's the content side, which is the food offering side of it, which I'll get into later on in the presentation. The market overview, thankfully Nick had a great stats, so I don't really have to get into this. Over the last 3-5 years, the online delivery business has grown sort of exponentially, and obviously with the pandemic this year, it's kind of hit its hyper growth. Taiwan penetration, as early as March this year was only at 35%, and sort of June, July, it was upwards towards 68%. So widely adopted, widely used, and the international market, I think it was predicted to be at 77 billion by the end of 2022, but I think we are at that number now because of the pandemic. So obviously, everyone's hearing about cloud kitchens, dark kitchens, virtual kitchens, ghost kitchens. These terms are used oftentimes very interchangeably, and it's in the news every day. It's on TV. It's an explosive industry. But how is obviously the pandemic really kind of pushed the industry into its hyper growth. But prior to that, there was already a problem. The problem that sort of spurred the inception of the cloud kitchen model. And the problem really lies with the traditional brick and mortar restaurant business. Rising cost in labor, rising cost in real estate, rising cost in food. It's making for the best restaurant operators difficult to even generate a single-digit profit margin. So that's why the stats show there's such a high failure rate in terms of startup restaurants. Over 70% of them fail within the first 3 to 5 years. So with that problem came a solution. The cloud kitchen model. And the cloud kitchen model that most of you may be familiar with, it would be a large sort of real estate subdivided into 20, 30, 40 individual smaller concept kitchens, and then subleased to aspiring chefs, aspiring restaurateurs. So this is a great solution because in certain parts of the world it's probably cheaper to go into a shared kitchen model so that you're not paying for the capex, you're not paying for the equipment. So you can go in and open up a business a lot easier. But the problem it does not solve is the scalability of it, because in a way you're kind of congregating everybody into a confined area, and as the delivery platforms, their delivery area is usually around 3.5 to 4 kilometers, 30 to 40 minutes. So you're really kind of getting more supply in one area, and then you're in essence creating more competition for the restaurateurs and the chefs. So this is where our model is a little different. Our hub and spokes model, where our food is centrally prepared at the hubs, and our spokes are strategically placed, in sort of the places with the highest demand for delivery, and then thereby expanding our geographic reach beyond the 4.5, 5 kilometers. And we strategically using data analytics, that's how we sort of choose the location of the spokes. And I'll get into that a little bit later. So, these are some of the points where, obviously cloud-based technology and data analytics is where we use in our kitchen facilities. So this is our Nehu hub facility. Everywhere from the recipe creation, where we derive from data analytics, we figure out what area is desirable, what kind of food, what kind of menu, what kind of recipe. And then our equipment, smart appliances, cloud-based. So obviously energy consumption is a very big deal. We monitor our energy use. Storage, inbound logistics, and ERP. This is something that's obviously very important for food safety, which is our sort of number one priority. This is very important for inventory control, and this is very important for being able to track our assets, which is food that comes in the door from our procurement, how long it's been on the shelves for, and and implementing the first in, first out practice. So it goes through our food operations and our food preparations, and then from the spoke deliveries, there's an outbound logistics that's distributed into our spokes. So again, ERP, whatever that's enterprise planning, resource planning system. So what comes out into what comes into our hub and what goes out of the hub is it's always tracked, so that we know again, food safety for minimizing food wastage and proper inventory control. And then to know what amount of food to get to which spoke to serve that particular area the best. So this is our spokes. Our spokes are strategically placed. They're data driven. This is how we pick the locations. Certain areas like Xingyi, we would not just know that there's a lot of orders there. We would analyze, what hours of operations is most apt for that particular region, what kind of food is most preferred, and what kind of order, which day of the week it's most. So that that helps us, sort of keep our inventory. It helps us choose what kind of food to serve there and what hours to operate. The POS, the point of sales. So the orders come into our spokes, and this is all cloud integrated. So order comes in via one of our delivery partners. It's integrated, so we don't have to manually key in the order. So it eliminates, sort of human error. So we're not keying the wrong things or anything like that. So we get the order right every time. Of course, that's also linked into our ERP, our inventory control. So when you order a chicken bento, we know that 180 grams of chicken is taken out of the system. We know that 100 grams of rice is taken out of the system. So that way it helps us control the inventory, avoid spoilage, avoid food waste, and and equally importantly, we have adequate amount of stock for each location so that we know that we can serve our customers' needs accordingly. And then food preparation, within the spokes, and then geolocate, because we do both scheduled and on-demand pickup. or I mean, sort of delivery and also pickup. So it's important for us to know when the drivers are coming, so we can geolocate them. If they're 30 minutes away, our food takes 8 minutes to make. We don't want to make it 30 minutes so that's sitting on the shelf, getting cooled for 20 minutes. So that's also very important with the sort of the cloud-based geolocation technology. So I want to talk a bit about why we started in Taiwan. Taiwan is it's a great place, I think, to start a business like ours. To use it as a great springboard to model out prove out a concept and then springboard into other countries in the region. We've got one, it's a nation of great food lovers. We've got great technology, great talent, highly dense population. Logistics is well built out. So again, this is just a slide saying that why we started here, and obviously once we prove out the model here, we want to use this as a template to go into other countries. So now we're kind of getting into the creation of the offerings that we have. How do we create our menus? How do we create our recipes? And this is, again, it starts out with data. So we analyze the data to, the flavor profile of Taipei may be different than the flavor profile of Taichung, Tainan, or Kaohsiung. So we try to analyze and figure out what it is that is most in demand in those particular regions, and we develop a brand and we develop a menu around that particular preference that we have derived from the data. And then it goes on to a loop where we engage in digital engagement with our customers. So we get feedback. Is it the right packaging that they want? Is it the right utensils that they want? Do they want sustainable packaging? Is the flavor too salty? Is it too much food? Too little food? Well, it's rarely ever too much food. Is it too little food? So we get that engagement with our customers, and we're constantly refining that so that again, our goal is to best serve our customer base. So this is kind of goes to a little bit of our product offering. So with the data analytics and the data loop feedback, we refine, and these are some of the brands that we offer. So we try to have something for everyone. We have on the from the horizontal axis, we have the Western cuisine on one side, Asian on the other, and we try to hit every price point. So we're price sensitive to the people that we serve. So this is this is sort of the what. So we have some branch in each one of the 4 quadrants. We figure out each spoke would have 3 to 5 brand offerings. We don't have all 10 in each and every spoke. But for instance, for like a Xingyi spoke, we know that people are more health conscious there. We know that people order later at night, and we know that the weekend orders are bigger. So we'll tailor make our offerings so that it's the right brand mix for each geographic region. Again, serving our customers to the best of their needs. So again, this is sort of just what we've done to date, and we've only started this since the beginning of this year, and really it's with the help of data analytics, with the help of digital data, digital technology, and cloud-based technology that we're able to grow as quickly as we have. Now we've got the 16,000 square foot facility in Nehu as our hub kitchen. We've got 5 satellite spokes, and by next month, we'll be up to 8, serving Taipei and New Taipei City, and as well as Taichung. And our goal, obviously, is to build out all of Taiwan. This is sort of as an extension. As we have these customer engagements and these data that we've collected, we know what offerings are being repeatedly ordered. We know what people order, from anywhere from 4 to 17% on repeat orders week over week. So we try to engage with the customers. Okay, if they want to order something as a hot food service, do they want to have the same type of foods in the ingredient base, and then be it as a on demand or a scheduled delivery to their homes, so they can cook the same things at home. So there we inspired the Just Market concept, and this is something we just recently launched. And we're really trying to go with sort of a higher end artisanal type of offering. And another thing is, we try to provide a digital platform for the small grocers, the xiaonong, so that they can also utilize our platform and be able to get their product out to the customers. This is kind of just a leadership team. We have a pretty eclectic mix of people. We have a third in F&B, a third in technology, and a third in finance. But really, the point of this is, with this digital technology, with the today's day and age, before, computers, anything had to do with IT, it was kind of always given to the CTO or the CITO. But now, rarely any decisions made without, sort of consulting on analytics or digital data or something of any sort. We're all very involved in that process. Our CMO is very involved in digital marketing. I don't make a decision without consulting any sort of data or technology of some sort. So it's very ingrained, I believe, in every business nowadays. Again, this is kind of the timeline and the milestones that we have established. We've gone very quickly, and obviously our ambitions are high and going very quickly. This is kind of our company's sort of core value. We call it ESG. And it's environmental, social, and governance. With environmental, we really think we can make an impact on this with the cloud-based technology and the cloud-based adoption that we use. So with the ERP, we can adequately and accurately predict the amount of food that we're needing for any given time. So that is to avoid food wastage and sustainability. And then we try to promote, farm to table. So we try to source locally. And obviously, with the environmental, we make sure that all our packaging is environmentally friendly, because we know from our customer engagement, people are willing to pay a little bit more for better packaging. Social engagement, really, it's the engagement with our customers. We try to get digital feedback from them real time in what they want. To start out with, from what kind of food do they want, and then what kind of reactions do they have to the food? Do they like it? Do they not like it? And we try to constantly make this adjustment and to have the social interaction with our customers and to better our offering. Because now we've got 10 brands and we'll soon to have 15, but we want to make sure those brands, if they don't like it, we can eliminate them. That's one of the beauties of a dark kitchen operator. And governance, governance really, with this year, what's happened with the pandemic, we're able to, because we have board members that are in San Francisco, we have board members that are in Canada, without sort of, video conferencing platforms, digital signing platforms. This allows us to make decisions very quickly, allows us to make decisions in real time, even without traveling. That's obviously inhibited all of us for this year. And governance and HR, of course. HR nowadays, everything's cloud-based. You can punch in, punch out. Personal data is very important, as well as customer data. So we take cybersecurity very seriously, and we keep that sort of kept, and that's allowed us to do. What's allowed us to do that is obviously with cloud-based technology and security, cybersecurity technology as well. So I think I actually ran through that before 20 minutes. So thank you very much, and hope you guys order from us and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Jason, CEO of Just Kitchen. That was a very informative talk. Thank you again. 那接下来呢，我们要邀请的是不断致力于打造新世代社交互动实境的 XR Space 未来式的陶运智总经理上台来跟我们分享。Ladies and gentlemen, next please welcome Sting Tao, President of XR Space, world's first social reality platform in 5G XR. 掌声欢迎。
谢谢，大家好。
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sting from XR Space. I'm the general manager. XR Space is a company that's dedicated to taking VR, AR, MR to the next level and provide it for the mass. And we are a startup. We started 3 years ago, and on July 15th, we launched at the Zhonghua Telecom. The things that we do is in the past, the VR, AR, I'm sure you've all heard of it, you've probably used it, but around the world, the first thing is that in the past, VR is more on game oriented, and we would like to change that so that VR can be applied to the immersive experiences.
And it can become a part of daily life of everyone. I think in the past, VR is actually because it focused on gaming itself, so it's a one-player exciting experience, and people are very used to that. But once they remove that headset, they go back to the reality and not they go back to isolation. Therefore, we would like to use a multi user environment, and we need to improve the technology. In the past, the headset can be quite heavy and big, and we're trying to make it uh, smaller, and we have a lot of work to do in terms of the business model so that VR, AR, MR can be a household experience. And immersive AR experience can take you to a different place. So, this is our vision, that is to bring people together and people can enjoy that togetherness from different places. We can shorten the distance. In the old days, people they sent uh, letters through DOS, and now with web conference, we can have real time conversation with people, and through these remote communication technology, and we need to actually take this to the next level with the arrival of 5G. That 2D experience can become a 3D experience. As if everyone are in the same room, we can have eye contacts and interactions, physical interactions. And this is what we try to accomplish. We want to have a VR platform that can be used across the world. So this is our headset. It's lighter, it's faster, and it's more powerful. It's compact. It's wireless. You don't have to install sensors in your house. We use the chips on the headset and bring all the three dimensional algorithm and computing to the best level possible. And this is our technology because it is a headset as well as a computer, but our consumers are looking for a experience. So we built a world for our users. Once they put on the headset, they can enter into another world. So you can actually enter into Manova, the world we created for our consumer. So this is a world. It's not just an app. It's not an application. It's not a computer's software. Because we launched our headset at the China Telecom sites this July, and we're going to go into the market, expand it, roll it out very quickly. So, what's happening in the virtual world? What can we do exactly? I'm just to I'm going to give you a heads up. We accomplish the things we want to do by being together because we are all social animals. We learn, enjoy something for entertainment experience when we go to a baseball game or go to a restaurant with someone. So these are actually normal social behaviors. In the past, it is very easy to have that kind of experience. However, post pandemic, we found that it's not easy. It's not really difficult. It's actually difficult to spend time with other people. However, in Taiwan, probably this is not obvious. But after the pandemic outbreak, people realize that it's difficult and challenging, and upsetting not being able to go outside and spend time with your friends. Therefore, when we launched this product, we receive all kinds of inquiries from around the world, even from Taiwan. People ask us how to address this issue when people cannot physically be together. Then how do they have interactions, have eye contact, even a sense of warmth of the human to human exchange? And this is what we would like to accomplish. We want to bring people together in a virtual world. As I said before, we created a world you can enjoy your own private space and public space. And in terms of private space, you will have your own house. We are working really hard to facilitate human to human interaction, make it a smooth process. If you have So you can feel that as if you really have someone sitting next to you. These are the photo illustration. We always have pictures in which we have lots of people. This is what our platform does. You can have a house party, and for example, if you want to enjoy a TV series or movie, or even a sport game, with your family, with your friends together inside your own house. And how do we break that boundary of distance? So you just put your headset and you enter your own house, and it's bigger with wider screens on your TV. So it's a big size television screen, and when people talk to you, you feel as if they're just next to you. For example, for your friends who are in the United States at the same time, and you're in Taiwan, you want to talk about something, you can have that face-to-face interaction. And we have a city, and you can change the furniture, the decoration, of your house, as if you can you can do that to your real house, and you do that in your virtual house. And we also have a city center, and when you walk into the city center, you will see lots of people, you see lots of buildings. And the building itself, of course, is a product of imagination. And where does this take you? You can go to a shop. We work with the Yongqing Real Estate, and so we use iStage technology, and they can give you a virtual tour of the listed real estate object. And you in the past, you can only see pictures, but you cannot walk into a house, right? It's not that difficult, it's not complicated. For example, we are doing something like that for our exhibition. We have the scanned two-dimensional pictures, and the pictures are displayed on the screen. You can see them part by part, but it's not like you are standing in the middle of the room and then look around. And once you put on the headset, this can be accomplished. When you want to have a tour of a house, then what is called a three-dimensional house tour, you can walk into the estate yourself, and it's not just you walking. You can the sales agent can walk in to the house with you. And for example, if I'm going to buy a house, so I am the one who choose the house, but my dad is going to pay for the house. So my dad is going to see the house once I have made up my decision. The sales agent is trying to sell the house, and I need to have the advice of my friend who is now in the United States. So you need to probably have on-site investigation, many multiple times of visit to the actual house by many different parties. So this is what technology can do for us. You don't have to be physically there together. People can be inside in the same virtual space, have actual conversation with each other. Therefore, in our city center, we will have a Youqing Real House Agent office. So when you walk into the office, it's just like a real office, and this is actually a very it's like digital twin. So how do you have digital twin exactly? So you can move this offline space into online world, so it can be a complete the same duplication. People want to have the exact same experience. They walk into the house, they sit in the couch and they feel that this is the house we want. So I'm trying to help you to picture how this works. And we can also have a virtual beach and we can chill out on the beach. We can go to a virtual bar, meet a new friend, celebrate with your friends, go to a virtual cinema and enjoy a movie with your friends or with strangers. Or you can go to a theme park and you can enjoy the ride. You could go to a fair, and so these are physical experience our headset allows. In the theme park, there are many different kinds of uh, experiences. So we have that available, and also in the virtual world, you can also take selfies. Well, since we are talking about selfies, we have lots of space in the world. We created some of them, and we work with different companies. Different companies, they can build their own space in Manova. And when it comes to selfies, so Audrey Tan, she used this headset to have a conversation with her friend overseas. So they had a virtual conference together, and of course they felt it was a cool experience. And conference can conference aims to relay messages, right? And you can accomplish the same thing by having a telephone conference. However, if you can have your real lifelike avatars and in the virtual room, that is a total different experience. So we're trying to give you a real life like experience. It can be virtual, it can be lifelike, it can be non-lifelike, and you can dance, show your moves in the bar, and we have avatars. So the avatars can be moves can be driven by your physical move. So when other people sees you in the virtual space, it is as if they're seeing you in person. Your avatar is you. And you can also create a totally different avatar. We work with illustrators and artists. For example, if you like the works of a certain illustrator or artist, then you can dress up like uh, the figures they created. And distant or remote education programs. And what matters in a educational program is the interaction you have with your instructors and your classmates. So you do not feel that you're learning something alone. And it's the same for conferences. Of course, we have scenarios for better application. If you, for example, if you need to have something to help you, to assist you, um, your teaching. It can be the teaching tools you need, and VR is can grant you this. Maybe give you even better demo than the physical demonstration, live concert, personal entertainment. Uh, so this is one of the singers' uh, s- uh, live concert. So we have virtual concert. So there are virtual scenarios because it's impossible on the physical side. You have a spaceship. Well, you can have one as long as you have enough money, but you won't have a dinosaur, right? But VR in the VR world with less money, you have more powerful experience. So we demonstrated that in the showroom of Chunghwa Telecom. And VR trade shows is the same. We apply these technologies to immersive experience. The visitors, they can actually feel uh, how it is like to operate a tool or equipment. And we also work with the gaming industry. This is a gaming hall. And for example, we can have a hall for a virtual hall for customer service. You can actually have someone giving you service. We can provide, for example, we can give uh, uh, QA services. You can have customer services through telephone calls. In the VR world, we can have the effective face-to-face communication being entirely replicated in the virtual world. You can either show them how to solve problems through a video, through pictures, and we have workout together experience as well through VR. Put on your headset because to work out or and stay fit. It's actually quite dull and boring, so it's really hard to stick to your goal, and you need to go to a place to have a coach. Well, if it's normal times, you would choose to go to a park, go to the gym. Post pandemic, this is something difficult. For example, in certain country, with a severe outbreak of pandemic, for elders, they can go to park, have to meet their friends, and they lose their social life. And their only choice was to play Switch in their house. But Switch does not offer you players experience, and we can give you that experience. And our world can be seen through headset. You can have access to the world on web page on your cell phones, so we can have connections across different screens. And we also work with my video of the Taiwan Telecom, and so we have a sport. We offer a sport experience. Well, it's the same. Now you can still go to a baseball game in person. This is affordable in Taiwan, but not available in other countries at the moment. So we work with Fubon Guardian. It's a baseball team in Taiwan. It looks like this. So we have actual persons. They go to the stadium, and they can have a chat, talk about the game. And we also added more special effects, so you can have the cheerleaders and even the commentators having direct conversations with you. To the bottom right, this is a selfie taken by the girl. So we did not capture, it was not taken by us. So that was the user's photo. So this looks like a sport bar, and you can feel that you are there in person and have the best view. So this is integration of online offline world, and rather saying describing this as a digital twin experience, you can say you are taking user experience uh, to a different level. You can replace the offline experience with better online experience. We can have user-generated talk shows, talk in different scenarios, make friends. Now I'm going to show you a video as my conclusion. I hope I'm going to talk through this video. I think with the arrival of 5G and the post-pandemic era, we can upgrade our experience. The things that distance prevent us from doing can be accomplished right now. You don't have to travel overseas to get your order to set up your booth at a trade show. We know that it takes probably tens of millions of budget for a company to tour around the globe and set up trade shows, but they can have less money. They can spend probably just 20 million on a fantastic online trade show, and this can go beyond country boundaries. So we are now working and talking to big companies to find out a model for the trade show setup. And we also have lots of interesting business models, online karaoke experience. You know, having a solo karaoke experience can be quite lonely. Not weird, but quite lonely. But because we when go to karaoke, we want to enjoy time with your friends. If you isolated people for a long time, you will get a lot of self-compensating activities. So we allow them to sing karaoke virtually with their friends. So with the arrival of 5G and XR technology, we want to have a platform that is most user friendly. So the power of VR, you can all different industries can tap into the power of VR. Thank you for your attention.
Leo, thank you once again to Sting, President of XR Space。谢谢刚才5位讲师这个精彩的分享哦。那我刚才又上网看了一下，我们今天上午是说，昨天呢，我们 Date Summit 的这个虚拟舞台哦，有这个超过5500位的这个点阅哦。那今天呢，我刚刚一看已经超过6000了。那希望呢，大家能够持续的多加利用啊。那另外，我有看到我们这个直播旁边都有这个即时讯息的功能哦，也有这个网友留言说，不知道台湾有这么多强的这种软硬体以及这个服务哦，非常的惊艳，也确实哦，我想这也就是为什么我们每年要举办这个 Date Summit 的这个原因哦，就是希望透过这个平台呢，跟大家分享这个数位经济、数位商务的最新以及最重要的趋势及技术哦。While our staff are still busy setting up on the stage, we'd also like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to all of you who are watching online or you are here joining our forum. We would like to thank you once again, and we really appreciate your very positive feedback. And that's also why we are having the Day Summit every single year to keep you updated with all the latest and most important trends and technologies in e-economy. 那接下来呢，我们的会议很快的已经来到了最后一个阶段。我们昨天呢谈了后疫情时代数位新生活，谈了超前部署数位转型的这个生活形态哦。那接下来呢，以我们今天上午的这个主题云经济数位应用的新风貌，我们要邀请我们的主持人以及刚才的这个5位讲师哦，再次回到舞台上来给我们更多精彩的讨论。And now we move on to the final panel discussion, a Date Summit 2020. And for that, we'd like to invite all of our speakers back to the stage. 那我们这个阶段呢，非常开心为各位邀请到金周刊王之杰研发长担任主持人。And to moderate this session, we have the Dean of Research and Development Department of Business today, Jason Wang. 我们请主持人到台上来，以及刚才的5位讲师 and all of our speakers in this session. We have Sting from XR Space, Nick from Food Panda, Johnny from iStation, Jason from Just Kitchen, and also Vic from ALO。好，我们请在舞台上就坐。那接下来呢，我们时间就交给主持人王研发长。
大家好，这个
Hello, everyone. Before we begin, I have to apologize. First of all, I know it's 12 o'clock. I'm sure you're all rather hungry, but feel free to help yourself to the snacks in front of you. These are some really good delicacies from Taiwan. And secondly, I apologize for conducting this session in Chinese. So, without further ado, after hearing from our 5 wonderful speakers and your presentations, I personally have a lot of questions for you as a journalist. So, first of all, a question to all 5 of you. A lot of the times we see distance begets beauty, but with the COVID-19 is really the reason behind the distance. If we're looking forward to 2021, if we take COVID-19 out of the equation, when we're looking at the new economy and the cloud economy, is it going to return to what it was, or is the new normal here to stay? The reason I ask this is because people in the tech industry believe that this is going to be the new normal. But when I read the Wall Street Journal today, the Netflix CEO says that he doesn't like this new normal. It's not positive factor, and he believes that after the COVID-19, we're going to return to our old normal. Now, our 5 speakers today are all benefactors of this distance, and of course there are differences within, but without going into details, some of you have already touched on a lot of things in your presentations. Let's just say, put a timeline on 2021. As 5 entrepreneurs of startups, what are you expecting in 2021? How do you think the entire environment is going to change, and how are you going to adapt your policy? Maybe we can start from Vic, from Elio. We're going to take turns. I think personally, I think it's something between. I believe that if starting from 2021, the COVID-19 in 2020 changed people's habit of using certain things. In the past, people didn't used to order online, but now people order online. If it goes on, according to our observations, now when we walk through the door, we start with people taking your temperature, and now we have a camera taking the temperature. And in the past, the thermometer might be planted on the walls or something. I also asked a lot of my friends, I said, what are you going to do after the COVID-19 is over? They're going to travels. There are certain things that are going to change. You might have travel bubbles. The way you travel might change a bit, but people still want to do the same thing. I think people are going to move towards more of a cloud-based solution, and the physical interactions between human beings, I think it's going to return slowly back to the old normal because we can't be forgetful. What about Alio? Because you are mainly in the hospitality industry, what do you think 2021 is going to do for you? Because people might be resuming their activities, whether it's in hospitality or travels. It could be good for hospitality industry. Do you have any strategies? Our strategy is that if we're going to combine these things, if the market resumes, yes, the business is going to boom. That is our short-term goal. But when we really look at it, we have to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. I like to use the example of Zoom. The reason Zoom's stock price skyrocketed, it's not necessarily because of the rise in video conferencing, but the new business model allows a lot of people to adapt with an affordable software, so you can immediately go into video conferencing without going through the traditional changes. So after COVID-19, I'm sure the personalities are going to stand out even more. In the past, you need 8 people to share a hot pot. Now you can eat a hot pot alone at home. How do you fulfill these different demands at a affordable price? if you have a platform like SaaS that can apply to everyone, everybody can use. It's not just because a big market and you don't have a choice and you just use whatever you have. So I think ultimately we want all of these small and medium sized enterprises still can have a platform that fulfills more service demands at an affordable price that gives them a different position in the market. Thank you. What about Nick from Food Panda? I heard your really ambitious goals. You want to deliver within 30 minutes to get the groceries. That sounds amazing. I remember interviewing President CEO Lin at Chenlian, and he said 1 hour, but you are looking at 30 minutes. What do you the PX Smart is looking at 1 hour, but you are looking at 30 minutes. So what's your strategy in 2021? Is it really going to be like in the commercial? Is the father going to be able to get his hands on the formula milk immediately? I think 30 minutes is actually already a new normal. We can actually speed it up to 20 minutes when we are really looking at the impact of COVID-19 this year. Like I said earlier on, it really did. There was a sudden drop worldwide. Obviously, all of a sudden, no restaurants can operate, people can't go to the shops. But because delivery service is not bound by distance, not bound by location, so it quickly picked up. I think it speeds up everything. A lot more people can try new things and to consider new ways of purchasing. And I think at Food Panda, we are fulfilling such demand, and at the same time we are focused on this experience. How do we make sure that the customer experience is smooth and benefit from the process and really feel that, oh yes, perhaps I don't need to spend all this time to drive my car to a certain mall to buy something but I may only need a bottle of soy sauce or a pack of tissue. So, post COVID 19, I believe that that experience is here to stay. People have already experienced it. And during this process, more and more consumers are going to, if they have a very good experience, they're going to change the way they live, they're going to change the way they shop, and they're going to change the way they select restaurants. And that habit is going to stay. If we look at Taiwan, we are comparatively safe in Taiwan society, and we believe that this growth is here to stay as well. Therefore, in 2021, we're going to continue our cultivation in the Taiwan market, and we're expanding from food delivery to grocery, even to flowers and pharmacy deliveries. These are all areas that we want to tap into. Flower, while that is a challenge, what about ice staging, Mr. Lee? Presently, if people start moving around, there is no bubbles, the vaccine works very well. How do you think VR is going to work for you? Because if the MICE is going to restart again, what do you think ice staging will be able to provide differently then? Of course, we want things to go back to the way it was. We still need to be in control of our lives. So when the ball is in your court again, unlike now, you're being forced to do certain things. But right now, under this situation, we were also able to achieve what we didn't used to. So we are putting ideas into people's head and getting money out of their pockets, and we've achieved both of it. For example, Food Panda. When COVID-19 first hit, my wife thought it's good to cook in. My kids can finally eat something that's healthy. But come summer vacation, she regretted it. She never used to order from Food Panda, but now she orders from Food Panda every single day. So in the future, for example, Netflix, you watch 10 movies per year, but often during the COVID-19, you watch 10 movies on Netflix per week. I think it's going to change, even including the theater performances that you see. In the past, I may fly to 10 in the past I might not fly to 10 countries, and I choose different mices that I want to visit. But in the future, I might only choose two or three, and then I stay for longer. So there are lots of things that you've never tried, but now you get to try it, and you find that it's actually not bad. You watch Netflix and you like it. You order food from Foodpanda, you like it. In the past, you might not leave the door at all, but now you are willing to go further and spend more and stay longer. So I think post COVID-19, people will have more choices and find options that are more fit to you. What about 2021? What are you looking at? We hope that Sting will do a much better job in the future, because VR plus the goggles, that's what we're looking for. But during COVID-19, we have the cross devices, and if you have the VR glasses, it's going to help. But post COVID-19, like we mentioned earlier on, these exhibitions or expos, if they have the technology, the VR technology in their service pre and during and post the exhibitions, it's going to really get people to interact more intimately than before, and people are going to be more satisfied with all of these choices. What about Just Kitchen? Jason, what kind of situation do you think you're looking at in 2021? I think Taiwan, the pre and post COVID, I think Taiwan is already very lucky, because the food and beverage industry in Taiwan is bouncing back. For example, online platforms like Foodpanda, delivery services, the number is no longer dropping anymore. So I think this option gives us a new normal. For example, take my father for an example. He's slightly older in his generation, and before the pandemic, they've never used Uber Eats or Foodpanda, any delivery services. But because of COVID-19, they've learned to use it. Now they are able to go out and dine, but they still order food online because it's convenient. So once you have the choice, people still have these social interactions. People are still going out, but now you have an extra choice of using the technology, and that technology enables you the choice. And I think is a habit that you develop, and people are getting used to it. So you think if it's good, then if things get better, you throw away your new habit? I don't think so, because I see a lot of restaurants with lines outside. The order volumes are not dropping anytime soon. So I think that this really is a habit that is developing. So staying from XR space, we look at Avatar. Avatar was 10 years ago, so we're looking at different R's that is on the rise, but now we still have a gap from how it's going to be applied in real life. Are we able to expect that in 2021 the AR, MR, VR really be introduced into our daily lives?
没有吗？
有那个 XR 本身
Well, the technologies behind XR are really complicated. So, to answer your question, we are really working hard to realize this vision, and the mass market is not yet mature enough. Today, our AR technology is based on Hollywood technology, but the whole world is making progress. We are working really hard. We have chips, software, computer vision, hardware technologies. Well, I think I would like to enlist your continuous support. I think after a certain level of adoption after the pandemic, the next step for next year is to uh, bring the experiences to its best level, and if they're satisfactory enough, then we can keep them. If not yet, then we'll continue to improve it. And maybe like ice stage, you can have ice stage as your you have ice stage as your partner. I think you are actually working toward a better level. This is actually my next question. The technology itself is not enough. You need to have ecosystem. Looking forward, are you expecting any key technology to make your services more friendly? Would this technology be 5G or other IoT technology? Maybe we can bring other panelists into the conversation. You talk about the supply chain for AR, VR, and you talk about the ecosystem issues. And of course, I can talk about non-technical side of the problem. For example, you need to have the on-site experience of a sport game. A VR can give you a lifelike experience, but the problem is that people they don't want to have that real life, lifelike broadcast. Because a lot of people are reluctant to change. But now we are starting to see attitude changing. I have heard people making inquiries about broadcasting VR sport games. And in the past, this is not unlikely to happen because in the past, it's easy to go to a stadium to see in person a sport game. But now, because of the pandemic, people are starting to change their attitude. And I think that is a good news among the bad news. And lots of hurdles to overcome in terms of technologies. We look forward to the arrival of FG. Actually, we are doing all these for FG. This is what our founders expect to do because Wi-Fi, 4G do not support the big volume of data upload. Just think about the karaoke experience. You want to have people, and even if you want to have a global competition, a virtual global competition, having people logging from different sites from Sweden, from the United States, and even have a chorus together. You won't be able to do that with 4G, but having 5G as the backbone technology, that karaoke competition won't is not going to be a dream. You can have a dual singing with a certain person, have a live concert. Um, that is, but we are looking for more partners to make this a possible experience. So, with the popularity of mini wave, maybe we can have a karaoke experience with someone from Sweden or Norway, or having a live concert together with Jolene Tsai, a famous diva from Taiwan. For example, we have that similar experience already. We have the guitarist in Taichung, a pianist in Taipei, and then we have users from US watching that concert, jamming. Of course, we need to still need to see this technology to be adopted by for commercial use. Uh, so going forward, what kind of factor or technology are you still expecting, which are now missing? And you want to have that technology ready so your service can be ready. We are suffering two pain points. First, in terms of our earn LU model is more caters to more to the needs of service industries, but we do have some partners who are doing NLU for different domains for education, law, transportation, because it is difficult to limit people's conversation topics. So we need to have a more integrated, comprehensive service. For example, some of our vendors have kiosk service. So the drive-through client would like to use our VR technology, but it's very difficult to expect what people would say, what people would do. And for edge computing for NLU application is still really rare, so it can be a rule-based application. But for a burst source model to have a device computing is still very rare and unseen because the power requirement level is really high. So when first you will face the bandwidth issue, and also privacy is another issue. I think going forward, we can quickly realize this. For example, for a security concern industry like banking industry, medical industry, government, telecom sectors, they will have needs like this. So I think that can be tackled. Thank you. For Nick, for Food Panda, because we were experienced regulatory barriers before. So if you want to have flour or other kind of services, do you see any kind of barriers that have to be overcome in the ecosystem? So I have a several points on this. I think Panda for me is still a platform, and the more partners we can accommodate, the better. I did not touch upon technologies or solutions in my presentation, but we're helping our partners going through digital transformation because of Panda, they have their online shop and they can deliver food. Of course, they can ask someone, find someone like a service provider to help them to build their website and hires their own writer for delivery service. And that is going to be very complicated. But all the technology supporting these kind of services were built in-house by foodpanda. We will continue to embrace different technology solutions, and we would like to support all types of transactions and services available on our platform. But essentially, we are a data driven company. When we have a 20-minute delivery, it's not about how fast our riders can go, and also we need to have their safety in mind. We monitor their speed, we monitor traffic safety, and we also conduct audit check with Taipei city government to see is there anything else we can do to ensure their safety. We collect big data supported by AI. We can actually assign our orders more precisely. For example, we have over 1,500 orders generated per minute. At the beginning of Foodpanda, we had a human dispatching the orders. They make phone calls to the restaurants and giving the orders. So in the early days of Foodpanda, you would see a big whiteboard and people writing down and dispatching the orders, and people making phone calls to restaurants. So big data is the fundamental, a part of the fundamentals, but the users they won't feel that. So we have integrated that as a part of our service. So technology wise, we want to have like a robotic structure. We help people, for example, we help people to carry more weight. Through the service, they will be able to carry weight of 200 kilograms or 300 kilograms. With Food Panda guidance, the restaurants they can find clients, but through our service, they can get 5 orders an hour, 6 orders an hour. That improve their income and also save time for consumers. So we will continue to absorb new technologies. And we are data-driven company, technology-driven company, and we improve at the ecosystem by constant upgrade. And I would also like to work with ALO to see whether we can better service our customers. We still use a real human customer service, but maybe we can be more precise in the future and can be more effective. And I can also work with iStaging or XR Space. Maybe our consumer, when they place orders through Food Panda, they can actually see how their food is prepared. This can be part of a better service instead of having the experience from the point of receiving their order. So I really look forward to that kind of collaboration, and I do too. I think for Food Panda riders, maybe they can also have a protective shell uh, to for these riders so they can deliver faster with better productivity. So for iStage staging, so Mr. Lee, is there anything missing from the puzzle that you would like to find that missing piece? It's not that complicated. So we have cell phones and everybody can become a star, can become a KOL influencer, and everyone have access to computers. So technologies can be fancy. New tech can be fancy at the beginning, but it will become normal a few years later. And we have IoT, we have drone, we have driverless car, we have IoT, we have gene technology, editing technology. We have and we all the technologies, all the things, all the processes will be 10 times faster. At the beginning, like we can all chip in. It's like making a pot of soup. So you can have the pot, you can have the stove, and then you contribute the vegetables. So I think that for the ecosystem, the key word is participation. In the future, we are not going to have our eyes glued to our screen. Maybe uh, for your own computer, your screen is your spectacles or your glasses, and then you can have your CPU in your swatch. So I was playing a game with a pizza, Domino Pizza. So the CEO told me that Domino is actually a technology company, but the only difference is that our product is pizza. So 6G can be the technology after 5G, and the technology probably can be offered through satellite, and we can have driverless car, and you can have your spectacles as your computer screen. Technology is supposed to be in every part of your life. So what is the missing puzzle? I think the missing piece of the puzzle is participation. If you are not participating, then you will be replaced because you are depriving yourself the choices and options by not participating. Like Confucius said, that uh, you are the masters of these objects. Why do you think that people opt out of the participation? Firstly, to really teach people, it's the most difficult thing to teach people a new concept or get them to uh, get money out of their own pocket. The first step is always the hardest, and we are forced into the new habit because of the pandemic. But it seems that you can have your pajama on, enjoy your popcorn in your living room, enjoying Netflix is not a bad thing. And if Sting can have bring people from Norway, from different parts of the world, and bring them into my living room, enjoy that together. I think that would be a good thing. So in the future, I think these kind of global crisis will be the one to force us to take that first step. So now I know I have choices. I can choose between Food Panda or join the queue of a restaurant.
So after you've tried it, you have choices and you can choose to participate or not. The more people participate, the better the pots of soup taste better. So Jason at Just Kitchen, in 2021 or even beyond, what do you think you need to, what kind of technology or ecosystem you think need to be in place? I think short term speaking basically would be our IoT cloud based technology. We need to be integrated with our value chain so that we can better manage our supply chain and value chain. Our value chain include HR and marketing and so on and so forth. That's for short term. Right now, this is what our technology in place can do. For midterm purposes, I think we are collecting these data to work with some AI companies to predict certain business models, because we have, for example, right now the hubs and the spokes we are, they intuitively you would think, okay, we can be placed in Xinyi area or Da'an, but there are places that are probably unexpected. So we need to work with AI companies to help us analyze our data to make decisions that are beyond our human brain's capacity. And for example, in our kitchen, we work with a brand which is a Michelin one-star restaurant. So if we sell their ingredients like a meal kit, for example, like the Blue Elephant, then perhaps we can have their chef demonstrate. If you don't order the hot food from us, you can buy this meal kit home and cook it yourself for your family. And this is something that we are looking at expanding as well. And you talked about data. Are you going to ask an enabler to help you, or are you going to do it in house? I think it would be on both ends, because for example, online platforms like Foodpanda, their advantage is they are frictionless and it can be very easily utilized. So you need integration to bring the data onto your platform. So we do things like on demand would be more difficult, but scheduled delivery is possible. So right now our pilot program is, if you need your sous vide meat in 6 hours or frozen vegetables in 6 hours, then if you can schedule it, then we will be able to use our data to assist it. Because our partners also provide their data and we integrate our data, and third sources would be our restaurant partners. They also have data that can be fed in. Because you have a platform, you need to integrate different sources of data to better manage and anticipate. I think we have 15 minutes left. We have time enough for one last round of QA. You are all important players in the startup and world, and for startup there are companies that are unable to really reach the mainstream society. So I would like you to share with everyone, if you're going to look into the future, you see that success in the near future, what would you say your biggest challenge is right now? If it were up to you to choose, what resources would you really like for you to achieve that goal? Let's again take the same turn. We're going to start with Vic, and Sting will conclude for us. you have about 2 to 3 minutes per person. We can't keep anyone away any longer from their lunch. So very quickly, for startups, people are the same problem for everyone is scalability. People would ask you, how fast can you scale it up? And it's lucky for us that we are unable to leave the country due to COVID 19, but Taiwan is a comparatively safe place. So we're looking at the controllable and uncontrollable parameters. The uncontrollable would be the COVID 19, but controllable would be how we use the time to this year and next year to really expand our concept in the market so the market can actually see this new application and new usage. And even there are new marketings for people to really understand what the SaaS platform, how the SaaS platform can change this service industry. We're not trying to change the interpersonal relationships. We're changing that cost structure to change the revenue structure of that industry. So under this condition, we hope that in the future people will be able to see our showcase and to understand how they can take it after the uncontrollable parameter has been taken out of the equation, meaning the COVID-19. Perhaps with what we have accumulated this year, by next year when COVID-19 is over, we will be able to take Taiwan to the biggest market share of smart hotels integrated. So we have all inbound and outbound guests see that's technology that's happening in Taiwan. So through this, we're hoping to really grasp the controllable and uncontrollable parameters so that we can reach scalability as soon as possible. So in terms of scalability, what do you think is the main resource you need? It is the talent or the capital? Of course, if priority is to be in place, we need capital, but talent, that is the least of my worries in Taiwan. When we were hiring in Google, Taiwan is usually the fastest site to have all the people that we need. So for my first priority, it would be capital, and the second would be the market acceptance. How can we make the market understand that this is something that is happening right now? It's not going to happen 5 years later, but right now. Thank you. So for Food Panda, what's your priority? In terms of Food Panda, I think I would look at it from two aspects. First of all, is what I talked at the end of my presentation, the quick commerce. If we look further into the future, I think quick commerce is going to change the way certain retails command their layout in the market. I'm also looking at my position. How do I support these retail providers to provide a better experience? And that there is still a journey there, but we already have a very good experience for food delivery service. How do we expand it to other sectors to help them? And I think that is our third development. Now, coming back to our own business, whether it's in Taiwan or around the world, with the rapid development, it becomes a new normal. It's very difficult for us to imagine that in the future we won't see any more food delivery, whether it's Food Panda or other competitors. I believe that this is here to stay. I believe that food delivery has become a permanent choice that people will have. You no longer only have to choose between dining in or taking out. You can also have food delivered to you. And under this condition, we will be focusing more on how can we build the ecosystem better and more healthier, more friendly, or have a provide better experiences, because with the bigger scale we are seeing a lot of good, negative and positive news. When you reach a certain scale, these are the individual cases that are bound to happen. But how do we use our own strength and with technology when we work these service providers to really provide a better experience for everyone, so that at the end of the day all of our consumers can receive a very good experience in all aspects? So this is our both long-term and short-term, we want all experiences to wonderful, then what do you need in terms of resources? Is it talent? Is it technology? I think in terms of resources, I personally think I need time. We need to continue growing. There is no end to this journey. We always need to better ourselves. So we need to discover and change and improve. So this is from something we've learned from our data-driven mindset when we are doing AI, when we're doing machine learning. That is the key about machine learning. It keeps feeding in new data and improving itself, its algorithm, and I think it's the same for us human as well. So presently, what do you need in terms, because you were able to do this for Titra and you work with LV and Tiffany, I think you have a very good command of resources. When you ask me this question, I think you are Santa Claus. Granting me my wish, I want Global Partner to really expand our operations. We have tried to maximize our customer acceptance online, including museums, hotels, and even real estate. With $150 per month in cost, he will be able to shoot videos for these for 3 houses. If we're able to really expand it globally, you're able to purchase things online. But I don't think an LV president will go online and purchase and subscribe to us for $150 per month. So I think we know LV, Tiffany, Coach, Dior. I can't really name those brands. My wife probably knows those brands better than I do, but we have 50 or so brands working with us. We need to do a lot of demonstrations. Customers might not believe us. You can do VR on your phone, but basically we're enabling this technology to everyone. I need a partner or two in each country or each region. That would be important to us, because if we're talking about mice industry, the top 15 mice companies, 10 of them are in Europe. You have quite a number in each European countries. Even though this VR ice staging is in Taiwan, but you can subscribe it online. That's good, but the offline interaction and exposure is still important. So post COVID-19, if people can still fly out, that's good. But if not, and I have Santa Claus granting me my wish, then I want these foreign partners to work with me so that I can expand. So, for example, WCS they talk to us online and they realize, okay, they can achieve this complete visual and cross-device VR in 3 or 5 days. They understand the technology, but they still need to see us in person to give us the money. So Tiffany and LV and Dior, think you're missing one more client. Yeah, they are all my clients, but I don't know if I share this now, they are going to, if the two merges, then they might cut my price. Okay, why did LV approach you? 5 years ago, we started working with E3 AR VR, and we merged in cloud. In 2015, there were no products. These really young people, engineers who have never worked outside because they are PhDs from Taiwan Normal University and other top universities. They've never worked outside before, so they didn't come up with products. We asked them to fly around the world to enter different competitions. So they go to, for example, France and different places, and you come first place in these competitions, you will get a reward, a prize, or you will have a demo site. For example, in France, they provided us, we came first in the competition, and we were offered a free demonstration platform. And they have over 400 vendors who would come and visit them. So basically, because of this, LV approached us. I hope that the French experience can be applied to other places as well, so that ice staging can expand. What about Jason? What is your priority for future success?
Priority 的话，
I would rather say it's a wish list.
国家，然后我们
I think Taiwan is really a country of foodies. What is inspire us of doing this has to do with the this phenomenon. You know, like for example, some of the great food in Tainan, for people in Taipei, they won't be able to have it if they're in Taipei. And for those great restaurants in Tainan, if they do not plan to pass on their business to their next generation, then we can actually plan for knowledge transfer. We help them to economize their business, and they can actually save a lot of hard work. And we have been importing other people's output, but our bubble tea can be quite iconic across the globe, and our beef noodle is world famous as well. So this is our wish list. We want to build up our system integration. We can have a good integration, and this can be like a cookie cutter model, and so we can have this being exported to other country. So people in other countries can also try the good food we have here in Taiwan, and we are growing quite fast. We can have one a new shop opened per month. So I think we have enough talents, but difficult to find them. We are constantly hiring. That is our short term need. But for our long term plan is to keep up the scale. So for the hiring issue, if you are offering great salary, cannot solve the problem. So we can have 3 minutes for Sting. You have lots of entrepreneur experiences, a lot of experiences in leading a startup team. So maybe you are the best one suited for wrapping up this panel. We are doing something that was not tried before. We want to build a social reality platform for a 5G era and for everyone. So the question is that why would people want to use your platform? Then the key is experience, because you need to have word of mouth. You need to have users. They experience the scenario, and we can learn and make improvement along the way. And in terms of key content, uh, so we need to have partners because we don't have the content. Sometimes it would be difficult because we won't be able to talk to our content partners because we won't be able to travel. We cannot go over to other countries. So it's difficult to confirm whether we are a match or not. So the problem is that we are trying to take the discussion to a more detailed level, and because this is a platform, it's a world, and it can be it's a world that can be expanded. So if we have app developers, we would like to see good app application and great content for mobile phone, for example, like Gucci. That would be a great example. So they meet the business criteria, and of course, which market is the question. Um, in terms of resources, what kind of resources do we need? We need everything that can make this happen. But I think we are the key to it. We are the key to the solution. Why do we want to use this? Why do I want to use VR? Uh, Instead of watching the content on TV, and we are still testing along the way. And this is actually the daily life of startups. We're always looking for resources. There is always a shortage. So we would like to ask for your support and the exposure and visibility of being up here in participating the panel. It is itself a resource. I think Foodpanda is big enough, so you don't have to in, improve their visibility anymore. So probably you just stole my line. We would like to offer this platform so that you can find the suitable ideal partner, and you're not only working for the market in Taiwan, you also want to bring this services to the world. And we can finish our panel discussion on time today.
合照好吗？有请。那我们现场的这个贵宾呢，也稍后一下下，我们等一下还有这个抽奖的时间，我们来看看呢，谁可以把这个高雄顶级 Villa 的住宿券给带回家。好，我们先请贵宾呢一起来合照。Thank you once again to our speakers and also moderator for your wonderful discussion. Let's have a photo together. Thank you again. 好，我们再次掌声，谢谢我们的主持人，谢谢我们的讲者，谢谢，谢谢。那接下来呢，这是我们 Date Summit 2020年最后的这个抽奖的时间了。All right, it's time to find out who can take home a free night in luxurious villa. Okay, let's find out. 那接下来呢，我们就有请这个万华协会数位商务处的林泽一组长来帮我们抽出得奖的幸运儿。OK。Let's find out。好，得奖的是
杨正斌，
有在现场吗？没有的话，我们就换下面一位了。OK， 下一位。
何硕唐正吉，
有在现场吗？没有。OK， 这个是 Foodpanda 的名片。
Amanda 素
在现场吗？恭喜！这个 Foodpanda 已经很大了，还要拿奖 ？OK， 没关系，还是可以拿，还是可以拿。恭喜你 ，Congratulations！ 恭喜，也谢谢组长，谢谢。那这个没有抽到奖也没有关系哦，请各位贵宾以及所有现在正在线上收看的贵宾，还可以到我们的 Date Summit 线上的虚拟平台帮我们填写线上的问卷，还有机会呢拿到 7-Eleven 的千元礼券，或者是改变世界的100件事情的专书请大家拨冗到线上我们的虚拟舞台呢，帮我们填写线上的问卷。各位现场贵宾，2020年 Date Summit 就到此告一段落。我们非常谢谢所有讲师的精彩分享，也非常谢谢您的热情参与祝福大家有个美好的一天，我们明年再见。Ladies and gentlemen, this ends Day Summit 2020. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you next year. Thank you again.